facility, which is connected to the building, is open until 3 p.m., so 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., Monday through Friday, closed Saturday and Sunday. Not only does the Cora Coleman Senior Center offer these type of programs, but the West Flamingo Senior Center, which is located near West Flamingo and Jones, their hours of operation are very similar to the Cora Coleman Senior Center. They're also open Monday through Friday as well. Although they don't have a recreation or senior center, Lone Mountain Park, which is located off of West Lone Mountain in the 215, they do have plenty of outdoor sport courts for folks of all ages to participate on as well. And of course, that is no charge there. For more information on the Cora Coleman Senior Center and of all the different programs, their telephone number is 702-455-7617. And for all of your parks and recreation needs, feel free to check us out on our website at ClarkCountyNV.gov/parks. And also our main hotline number is 702-455-8200.
It's the best cultural center in all of Clark County. Welcome to Winchester.
Hi guys, this is Adam Ward from Winchester Dondero Cultural Center. I'm here to talk to you about some of our upcoming events as well as some class changes that we've had recently. First up, of course, I'm going to talk about Life and Death, which is November 1st and 2nd, 5 to 9 p.m. More importantly, we are still accepting calaveras. Calaveras are the poems that we do that are dedicated to somebody who's still alive, but as like a parody to anybody that you feel inspired by. We are still accepting those applications for any calaveras until October 26th. Those run all the way up until 8 p.m. and they can be submitted to my email. You can also submit them in person down to the center, so come down with your poems and we'll be happy to take them. I also want to talk to you about a couple of the changes we've had to classes. We changed our Witness the Fitness. It is our free class program. We have had such high demand that we've actually had to change the whole class, so we've made it a full registerable class. It'll be $2 for the entire 6-week session, and we've moved the time to 4 to 5 p.m. We also have an on-point ballet class that we are going to put on. It is a workshop, so it's only going to be for 2 weeks, but we are putting the class on from 9:45 to 10:45. We wanted to make sure that people could get in on Saturdays and come and learn how to do on-point ballet. It's a very advanced technique, so please bring your ballet shoes, your on-point shoes. Finally, I want to introduce to you guys somebody who we greatly appreciate all the help that she does for us. This is Judy Tart and the 42nd Annual Jazz Picnic Festival here at Winchester Cultural Center.
Hi, I'm Judy Tart from the Las Vegas Jazz Society, and I'd like to invite you to join us on October 20th from 2 to 6 p.m. for our annual Community Jazz Picnic. We have a great line of music coming up this time. Well, not that we don't always, but it'll be especially varied. Beginning every hour on the hour, we'll have a different band. And in between the main stage bands, we will have the wonderful Green Valley Jazz Ensemble performing on the grass for your enjoyment. Please bring your picnic lunch, or you can buy non-alcoholic drinks and food here at the picnic. So we hope to see you out here, October 20th, 2 to 6. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Enma Alfaro and I'm a culture specialist here at Winchester Dondero Cultural Center. Today I'd like to share with you some of our fall programming for our seniors. We will be having Boo Bingo on Halloween Day. It will be from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So come join us, dress up, and have a great time. We will also be offering Friendsgiving at Winchester on November 15th at 12 p.m. So spend a lovely afternoon with friends and enjoy a traditional meal. If you have any more questions about our fall programming, call us at 702-455-7340 or visit our website at www.ClarkCountyNV.gov/parks.
Greetings, I'm Heather Lane Casera. I'm Clark County, Nevada's Poet Laureate, and I'm very excited to be here today to chat about just a few of the many poetry opportunities happening throughout our community. So first, I would like to invite you to an ongoing open mic. Every first Tuesday of the month at the West Charleston Library at 6 p.m., you can join us for Poet Laureate and Pals Open Mic. It's free and open to the public. It is awesome for seasoned poets and beginners alike. You can bring a poem or two, you can read poetry that you've written or poetry that you admire by someone else, or you can just come and listen. My co-hosts are Charlene Stegman-Moskal and Jennifer Battisti. This last month, we had a handful of poets join us who had never before read their poetry to a room of people, and it was phenomenal. It was a really good time. So free and open to the public every first Tuesday of the month. We'd really love to have you there. Next, I'd like to talk just a little bit about an upcoming poetry workshop where we are going to read poetry and also write some poetry. It's called Answering Art, a poetry workshop. It's going to happen on November 7th, that's a Thursday, at 3:30 p.m. at the UNLV Barrick Museum. We're going to be reading some poems that are written about visual art, so painting, sculptures, things like that, but we're also going to be writing our own, especially in response to Amanda Pingbotapakia's art. She is also an award-winning neuroscientist, so how cool is that? So pretty excited to be doing that. So whether you are interested in writing poetry, reading poetry, or maybe you're not even so sure about the poetry part, but you're just looking for a way to more deeply explore visual art, to interact with it, think about it, contemplate it, this event is for you, also free and open to the public. So finally, I'd like to pass along a message about a really cool opportunity for high school students. Poetry Out Loud is a national recitation competition that's happening, and high school students can win thousands of dollars for scholarship money, and so that's pretty exciting. The best way to learn more is to ask your teachers or your school librarians to visit the Nevada Arts Council's website. So the registration for that is in very early December, so make sure to go ahead and look into that if you are a high school student or you know some high school students. So thank you so much for joining me to chat just a little bit about poetry. I would love to see you for poetry out in the community. If you're looking for more offerings, you can visit the Clark County website, specifically the Poet Laureate page. You can also visit Eat More Art Las Vegas or Poetry Promise. There's a lot of poetry happening and a lot of places to find it, so I hope to see you out and about in the community. Thank you.
If you're wild about the Clark County Wetlands Park, you'll love the Wetlands Park Nature Center. Its exhibit gallery gives you a whole new perspective on this desert oasis located right in Clark County's backyard. The interactive displays, educational videos and activities, and hands-on exhibits are for kids of all ages. There's something for everyone at the Wetlands Park, indoors and outdoors, and it's all free. Visit today.
Are you a fan of Sunset Park? Clark County Parks and Recreation wants you to volunteer for its new Sunset Stewards program aimed at improving the visitor experience. Volunteers accepted into the program would be asked to patrol the park for at least 4 hours each month, report problems, and interact with park patrons in a positive way in order to educate them about the wildlife and caring for the 323-acre regional facility. For more information, please call 702-455-8200 or email sunsetstewards@clarkcountynv.gov.
Hi, my name is Jason Lenhart. I'm the shotgun and archery supervisor up here at the Clark County Shooting Complex. I just want to fill you in on a couple things that's going on up here at the complex. Starting on Wednesdays, we've got our trap league that runs every Wednesday. That's pretty popular right now, especially as the weather starts to cool down. Thursday nights, we have our Silver State Clay Breakers. That's a youth shooting organization. They're a great program. They're up here practicing every Thursday night. They do a great job with all the kids, so if you've got a young shooter looking to get into the trap or skeet, it's a great program to get started with. Wednesday nights is also our archery league. There's a lot going on down at archery now that things are a little cooler as well. And then Fridays are a great discount day up here for sporting clays. We run a little bit of a discount, so sporting clays is a pretty popular thing on Fridays. And then we go into the weekends where we've always got great things going on. We've got all of our Learn to Shoot programs, our trap, and sporting clays programs run Friday, and our sporting clays program also runs, Learn to Shoot Sporting Clays also runs Saturday as well. As always, I encourage people always to give us a call before you come on up. We are getting into our busy season. There's a lot going on, so sometimes we do have big events. We don't want you to miss out on anything if you do make a trip up here, so give us a call before you come on out. Make sure the range is nice and open for you if you want to partake in some shooting. And always, no experience is required. We've got a great team of super experienced RSOs out there to help you out if you've never done this before. We encourage you to start with trap, and then if you want to progress onto something a little more difficult, there's always skeet and sporting clays. But as always, just come on out and we'd be happy to help you get started. Also on the weekends, we do have our Learn to Shoot archery programs as well. So it's a great program for the kids. Come on out, bring them out. There's no range fee for archery for youth shooters. If you need a bow, we'll be happy to hook you up. Otherwise, we're getting into our busy season. We hope to see you out here.
Hi everyone, I'm Martin Olson with the Nevada Department of Wildlife here at the Clark County Shooting Complex to give you an update on some of the things we have going on out here. We're still running our introductory shooting classes, which include rifle, shotgun, and muzzleloader. And we alternate those classes every other month. And you can check out when those dates are by visiting register-ed.com and click on Advanced Hunter Education. Now these classes are geared for beginning shooters, and you do not have to have your hunter education certificate before you take these classes. However, I highly recommend that you do. And speaking of the hunter education, we have several classes offered right here at the Clark County Shooting Complex. You can also find those dates by visiting the register-ed.com under the hunter education column. Another special event we have going on here in October is going to be the Ducks and Donuts, which takes place out at the Overton Wildlife Management area. And you can visit our office, or you can call this number on the Ducks and Donuts beginning on October 14th, and it runs until October 18th. You'll need to make a reservation to get a blind out there at the Overton Wildlife Management area. We're going to have donuts and warm drinks in the morning, followed by a pancake breakfast from 9 to 10. Remember, this is a youth-only hunt, and we'll also have a special raffle for mentors who bring youth out to this hunt. And remember, we're going to have raffles for the youth, and all of them will get an automatic duck call for just coming to the event. So go ahead and come out, register for this. Make sure you get a reservation, because if you show up without one, you might not get a blind. I hope to see you out there, and I hope to see you out here at the Clark County Shooting Complex. Thanks, and we'll see you next month.
Hello, I'm Mark Hall-Patton. I want to welcome you to the Clark County Museum. Today I want to talk about our newest exhibit. This is Art and Artists of Southern Nevada, selections from the museum collection. Now, we're not an art museum. As you well know, we're a history museum, a natural history museum. We have 30 acres, 20 restored buildings, walking trails, nature areas and that. But as you go through the buildings, as you walk around the grounds, many times you might not notice that there is a lot of art in the museum collections. And over the last 50 years, a lot of pieces have come into the collections. So we wanted to take a look at that part of our collections, focus on some pieces that perhaps you may have seen in the past, but not really noticed. We pulled them out into a very specialized exhibit this time and are showing them for the next 6 months so that you can see some of the actual artworks that are in the museum collection. And I'm going to ask my curator of exhibits, Malcolm Vuksich, who created this exhibit, who did all the research on all these pieces and put together this exhibit, to walk you through it and tell you a little bit about the exhibit here.
We have over 200 pieces of art in the exhibit, in the collections completely. Everything from sculpture to quilts to fine arts. This one is interesting. This is, we don't know who created this watercolor. Portrait of B. and Ballard Barron. Ballard Barron was the casino manager at the old Hotel Last Frontier, and B. Barron was a singer at the Gay 90s bar at the old Last Frontier Hotel. This was given to them, we think, when the property was sold. We can see that was cut down from a larger piece because in the right top corner, the word Las Vegas and the complete date has been chopped off. We also think it might have been a full-size portrait at the time. We have several Cliff Sigerbloom watercolors in our collection, and he's probably best known as a watercolor artist, but this is a very nice acrylic on canvas board representing transition, but also a lot of self-confidence and a lot of isolation and self-reliance. So even though it talks a little bit, he presents an image of isolation, there's also quite a bit of permanence displayed in this collection, in this work. Aviation art is one specialty that is one of the art specialties, and this piece by Blake Morrison hung at Nellis Air Force Base in the Officers Club down there. It represents Major General Kelly, who was the Tactical Fighter Weapons Center boss at Nellis Air Force Base in '79. The aircraft on the empennage, you can see the orange and black, the yellow and black checkerboard, that's a designation of Nellis. It came with us with the little chip up in the upper left clouds. We think that the officers can sometimes get a little bit rowdy at the club. So, okay, in 1959, when the museum was 1 year old, Donna Paulson came down with the Nevada Watercolor Society to paint this image. The autumn field trip of the Watercolor Society came to the Water Street Museum, and we had a small collection of Indian dolls where that Donna Paulson was inspired by to create this very small watercolor painting. The Nevada Watercolor Society celebrated their 50th anniversary this year, and we've had this in our collection since 1969. The Las Vegas train station downtown. But Mary Shaw was a very popular artist and a longtime teacher. She also, this is interesting because it shows her conservation of materials. If we flip this painting over, we'll see a seascape on the back of it. But it's the Las Vegas train station is more representative of what we're trying to show in this exhibit.
So as you can see, there's quite a bit to see in the exhibit. It'll be on display through February of next year. Be sure to come out and see it. Remember, it is hard to find us open. We are only open 7 days a week, 9 to 4:30. It is $2, so come on out and see us.
Hi, I'm Aurora Buffington, exercise physiologist here at the Hollywood Recreation Center. The Body Bar, this rubber-encased 4-foot steel bar, has been helping people stay fit for over 30 years. Because of its simplicity, it's a great tool for beginners. And it can help add variety to the workouts of even the most seasoned fitness enthusiasts. The Body Bar may be found in some Clark County Parks and Recreation fitness facilities. You'll notice the capped ends have different colors that tell you how much each one weighs. You'll want to pick one that you can handle depending on the exercise you'll perform. Today, I'm going to show you 3 ways you can use these body bars to work on your lower body. The first way is to help with alignment. Proper form helps reduce the risk of injury and increases exercise effectiveness. Squats and lunges are probably the most popular and effective exercise to improve lower body strength, so I'll focus on these 2 exercises. To check the depth of squat, lay the bar across your hips. When you are in the down position, it should easily rest in your lap. To check your knee position, hold the bar straight up in front of the big toe. When you are in the down position, there should be a small gap between your kneecap and the bar. For a lunge, we're going to go ahead and check that our knee, again, is keeping a nice little gap. The second way to use a body bar is to improve strength and balance. In most leg exercises, you'll hold the body bar across the shoulders. But you can also cradle the bar, use it for stability, or hold a bar to increase the intensity of your exercise. Finally, the third way to use a body bar is to help you stretch. The bar will be placed vertically to help keep your balance. Hold your stretches for at least 15 seconds and up to 45. You can stretch your hamstrings, your quadriceps, the gluteals, and your calves. Between the strength training equipment and the free weights, there's always something available to help make your workouts more productive while keeping it fresh. Well, that's all for now. I'm Aurora Buffington, encouraging you to move more and unwind with us at a Clark County Parks and Recreation Center near you.
Positively Kids, nonprofit foundation in Las Vegas, provides care for medically fragile children at no cost. Please visit their website and join the team to see how you can help support their efforts. Thank you.
You're watching Clark County Television, our community, our home, Clark County, Nevada.
Hi everybody, and welcome to On Scene with the Clark County Fire Department. I'm your host, Scotty Allen. Now, those of you that remember, we did this program some years ago, and we're back on Channel 4 once again, and it's so nice to be back. On this program, we take an inside look at the Clark County Fire Department, the past, the present, and the future. And to sort it all out for me is my very first guest and a very dear friend. He's the 10th Fire Chief of the Clark County Fire Department, my friend Fire Chief Greg Castle.
Scotty, how are you?
Good, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing well, doing well.
Nice to see you. Thanks for doing this.
Well, thank you. I'm looking forward to this, coming back to our community and reaching out.
You know, and actually it was your idea to bring the show back, so did you just miss me or what?
Of course I miss you, obviously. But, you know, I remember back when the show was running all the time, and we would have people in the grocery stores or out in public talk to us about what they saw on the show, and it's just a great way to us to inform our constituents and our customers and our residents of what we do as a fire department.
Yeah, so, and when we used to do the show, that's what I loved about it, was the fact that we kind of put a face to the fire department. We let our taxpayers know where maybe some of their tax dollars were going in supporting of the fire department. So it was a big undertaking, but I'm glad we're back here on Channel 4.
And so am I.
And of course, I want to thank Eric Papa and Skip Kelly here at Channel 4 too for making this happen. So here we are, you and I. We go back to the Mercy Ambulance days. We've known each other a long time, and I don't even want to count the years, but we've known each other a long time. Yeah. And a lot of water has flowed under the bridge since then, and those of you, if you remember, a long time ago, back in the day, there was actually 2 ambulance companies here in town that ran the calls. It was American Ambulance and Mercy Ambulance. And I was working at Mercy Ambulance at the time, and you were working there as well. And you were how old at the time?
I was 16 when I started working at the ambulance company for the mechanic, doing odds and ends around the mechanic shop for him, and then started in the streets as a medic in the summer of '87.
Wow. And did you ever at that time ever think about it or have aspirations of being the fire chief one day?
No, I really wanted to be a firefighter paramedic. That was pretty much where my goals were, but that's obviously played out plus some for me, so I've been lucky.
Well, you're a Las Vegas native. You were born and raised here. You're from a pretty large family, but most of your family members actually worked at Metro or were police officers.
Yes, I'm the one oddball in the family, so to speak, that didn't go to the law enforcement route one way or another, either from communications or actual street police work. So I like the fire service, always did. My dad kind of brainwashed me early by making me watch Emergency back in the day with Johnny and Roy. It came on after Adam 12, but he made me watch that show, and just hook, line, and sinker, I was all in.
Yeah, I remember watching that show as well, and I remember, wow, this is the coolest show, Emergency, you know, and showing what these guys do and everything. I watch it now, it's pretty cheesy.
The acting's a little subpar and the backgrounds and stuff.
A little bit, yeah.
But in the 70s, for a little kid, man, it was was very appetizing.
Sure. Speaking of your father, something I know that you're proud of, he just had a local ballpark that was dedicated in his name. Talk about that a little
He
bit.
did. So when my father retired from the police department, he was a professional baseball scout for 20 plus years after that. And him and his good friend Manny Guerra, who worked for the Cardinals, my dad worked most of his time with the Texas Rangers, passed away, over a couple years span. And through some conversation, it was decided that they would, how nice it would be to have a baseball field named after them. And it just so happens down the southwest part of the district in Mountain's Edge, some really, really high-end baseball fields were being built, and I spoke with then Commissioner Brager from that district, and we got it on. So there's the Manny Guerra Field and Carl Castle Field right next to each other, just like they were for so many years.
That's amazing. Your dad was a wonderful man, and we're sorry to hear that he had passed. But your whole family is pretty great.
Yeah, I'm very lucky, very blessed.
Okay, so you were hired by the Clark County Fire Department in 1989. My career began with the Clark County Fire Department the same year. You were in one academy or rookie class before me. You were in 89-1. I was 89-2. Yes. If you remember those days.
Yep. 7 weeks apart.
7 weeks apart. Yeah, exactly. Let's just talk about you a little bit, if you don't mind. So I mentioned that you were born here. You hold 2 associate degrees and 2 bachelor degrees. Yes. Right. May 1989, you graduated from UMC's paramedic program, and you were a paramedic for a long time.
Yeah, about 17 years.
Nice. You've been an EMS instructor for the department as well as the community college.
Yes.
Yes.
Teaching.
1990, you married your lovely wife, Gina, who her and I have been friends for many, many years as well. And you have 2 kids?
2 kids, Dylan and Madeline. Both are teenagers and doing very well. They're great kids. Gina's done a wonderful job.
Sure, yeah, and God bless Gina. I just love your wife. It's not easy. I would imagine being the wife of a fire chief of the largest fire department in the state of Nevada, but she's a trooper.
She is. She's put up with a lot over the years, especially, specifically dating back even to the early '90s with the FEMA program, putting together the Urban Search and Rescue program. There was a lot of unpaid time spent away from home.
Sure.
For decades, getting that program up and running, plus being a battalion chief when we were short-staffed, and so she's managed to steer that ship quite well.
So speaking of that, the year that you got married, 1990, you also joined the Clark County Fire Department Technical Rescue Team, which we affectionately called the Heavy Rescue.
Yes, yep, that was the year I got into ropes and technical search and rescue, and it's been a passion of mine ever since.
Yeah, and I know that you really enjoyed that. You enjoyed your time there.
I did. I mean, there was nothing better than, we just mentioned, I was a paramedic.
Yeah.
I was for a long time a captain in that program, doing rope rescues and confined space rescues, and still fighting fire. So it was like a dream come true for an action-oriented kid to have all those things available to go to work every day.
Yeah. You also helped out with Metro Search and Rescue program, right, as a paramedic?
Through the department, yes. Yeah, we had old days, Rescue 12 and Rescue 22.
Oh, yeah, right.
We would provide the paramedic coverage back in the 90s for all the responses up in Red Rock and so forth.
Yeah. So just talking about the heavy rescue a little bit for the people watching at home, the heavy rescue, it's a little different than just your firefighters that go out and will knock down a fire in a home or an apartment. You guys are called out on the hairy calls, the ones that, boy, you're just not sure how you're going to get a person out of a trench or some sort of crazy life-threatening situation.
Yeah, occasionally there's specialty calls that require extra skill sets that you can't train the whole 700 people on the fire department for. So we've trained specialty teams, and when we have those calls, those personnel go, and if they need assistance, then the other fire departments in town have similar teams, and we'll amass all those specialty resources together to handle things like trench calls. Those are very, very challenging and very long-term events. It can take 6, 7, 8 hours sometimes to successfully extract somebody that's trapped below grade in a trench or some sort of a hole. Mine shafts is another one, really bad car accidents, airplane wrecks, things like that. Things that don't happen on a routine basis, but require some specialty tools, and specialty training to help mitigate.
Okay, so speaking of the heavy rescue, it was shut down for a period of years, out of service, and under your watch, you were able to get it back up. So you breathed life back into the heavy rescue program. So did you see a need for it?
Without a doubt, having been on that team during the build out of the early 2000s on the Las Vegas Strip, City Center and all those properties, I knew what was coming. We've got a lot of projects on the books. There's going to be a lot of high-rise construction rescue operations, a lot of underground rescue operations going to be going on. And we need the extra personnel, we need the extra specialty within our fire department to do that. And so it was, I mean, obviously a passion of mine, but I can't take all that credit. You know, there was, you know, had to work that out with the firefighters union on changing some language within the contract to allow us to get to that point, and of course the support of the county commissioners and my boss, Yolanda King, the county manager, to make that a reality and bring this program back to the Valley.
Nice. You are also a founding member of the Southern Nevada Unified Command Type 3 Incident Management Team. That's a mouthful, but what is that?
Well, that's a team of personnel that come together when there's an unusual situation, say a flood or a large-scale event. And it's a group of people that provide the overall incident management for that event. They determine the priorities for that event, they order the resources, they track those resources, they assign those resources, and they take care of whatever's needed to be taken care of. For example, in 2014, I took out a group to the Moapa Indian Reservation when they were devastated by a flood. And over the course of about 7 days, we worked out there. It had absolutely nothing to do with firefighting or rescuing people. We rebuilt their roads, we rebuilt their sewer system, we dealt with their displaced people and their housing, provided extra shelter and food and things like that. So we managed that event because it was beyond the capabilities of their local response out there.
And of course that team is still together.
The team is still together. I don't have much to do with it anymore, being in this position. I just don't have time for extracurricular activities such as that. But it is still together. It's a challenge to keep together because people train and move on and trying to keep people qualified to sit in those seats. But it is still there when needed.
And speaking of your position, February 17th, 2015, you became the 10th Fire Chief of the Clark County Fire Department.
I did, yes. Big day for the Castle family.
Yeah, and actually we actually had your badge pinning ceremony, which I was so proud that you asked me to MC that event right out here at the entertainment venue at the Government Center.
Yeah, it was a wonderful day, boy. In February, you wouldn't expect to see a 65-degree, wind-free, beautiful sunny day, but we had it that day. It was great.
Yeah. So, Chief, you're what we call in the fire service a firefighter's chief, because you've done it all. Coming up through the ranks, you were a firefighter, paramedic, a fire engineer, you were a fire captain, a battalion chief. Were you a member of FEMA?
Yes.
Yes. So you actually done it all, and now you're the big guy in charge.
Well, haven't done it all. I never did do hazmat, and I never did make it to the airport. There's a couple specialties I never put my toe in, but I've definitely been able to follow my passion and my dreams and the things that I wanted to do in my career, and I'm blessed. I've been very blessed.
That's why I retired. I got exhausted watching you.
Well, I'm not far away right now, I'll be honest with you. I'm 30 years coming up right now, and I will not see 31.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. That's amazing. What a career. So the Clark County Fire Department is the largest fire department in the state of Nevada, established in 1953, now covers about 8,000 square miles. 24 paid stations in town?
We have 30 career stations here in the Las Vegas Valley.
I've been gone a little while.
We've gone a little while. We've added a few. 30 career stations, and we currently have 10 in the volunteer corps. Mount Charleston has become its own fire protection district, and Moapa Valley with Logandale, Overton, and Moapa, they have become their own fire district. So 13 or those 14 stations we were at one time, we're down to 10 because they've become their own fire districts, no longer under the management umbrella of Clark County Fire.
Yeah, and also you cover McCarran International Airport as well.
Yes, cover the airport, cover Laughlin, Jean, Nevada. We have stations in all those areas.
That's just amazing the way it's grown. Also covering the Las Vegas Strip, the famous Las Vegas Strip, where there is just a plethora of emergency calls.
It is the most unique response jurisdiction in the world. We've dealt with things called vertical high-rise time and all these other issues, and we've reached out not only locally and nationally, but internationally, like to China and other places, to see how do you handle, getting your hands on a patient on this floor, how do you mark those times, and the challenges that we have here in this valley are unlike any challenges anybody else has. I get a lot of question marks back like, we don't know how you do what you guys do. But our men and women are absolutely phenomenal. The work that they do, the quality of service that they provide, the timeliness of those services they provide is just second to none.
I think it's safe to say that if you're staying at a hotel on the Las Vegas Strip, it is one of the safest places that you could be.
There's no doubt. I feel that exact same way.
Yeah. Okay, so with all the growth and everything, how many calls, what is the call volume nowadays for the Clark County Fire Department?
We're running roughly about 140,000 incident responses a year, and that's actually down, but it's down because we made changes in our response models. So we've trimmed back a little bit on our fire responses. We've altered some of our EMS responses because the call volume was getting so high and we were unable to add resources due to the recession and trying to recover financially as a community and as a department from that time period from 2008 to 2015, 16, 17, in that range. We had to figure something out because we were burning people out. People were quitting the fire department, giving up their careers because they were too busy and they couldn't manage their home life. They were just exhausted. So we had to make some changes. So with staff, the district attorney, the medical director, we took years and years of data on our calls and made some data-driven decisions on how to better serve our community, keep our resources fresh, and stop the departing of quality employees for other entities, because they were tired or didn't think that they could maintain this pace for 20 years.
And are all the units now ALS or paramedic level unit?
Everything with the exception of the battalion chiefs and the airport vehicles, the ARF vehicles, are not ALS. Everything else has a paramedic on it, from engine company to ladder company, the big truck going down the road with the ladder on the roof, and the rescue ambulances. Everybody has at least one paramedic on them.
Okay. And so how do you keep up with the growth in that ever-changing landscape out there?
That's a challenge. Southwest part of the valley right now is just booming. We have a tremendous response time issue out there. We're working with the commissioners, we're working with the Home Builders Association, we're working with county finance and county leadership to fast track some stations down that area to get our footprint. It's a little smaller for response areas so that we can get there in a more timely manner for our customers in need. But it's a challenge. It takes a long time for government processes to go through and not so long for other business prospects to go through, big housing developments, apartment complexes, all those things that generate calls for us.
So do you find as we grow, maybe sometimes we're a little bit behind the ball?
Without a doubt. We're a little bit behind the ball just because of being a governmental entity and having to go through the hoops that we have to go through.
And of course, new fire stations equals new firefighters.
New firefighters, yes. So we're, like right now, we're getting ready to hire an academy in August, and it'll be 35 to 40 new hires coming in, but they won't be ready to work until February. So it takes a while to get people trained, to get through the testing process, through physicals, through psychological evaluations and all that stuff, just to get that body on the floor, just to open a station.
And I know the training is not an easy task. I know that it has probably gotten way more intense since you and I went to our fire academy back in the day, but your training staff, they're serious about what they do.
They are very serious about what they do because our job is very serious, and all the cadres that come in and function in that capacity do a wonderful job taking people that have sometimes no idea at all what they're getting into and forming them into workable employees at the end of that academy so they can come out, continue their training on the floor with the men and women that work day to day, and then flourish in their careers.
Absolutely. Well, Chief, I know it takes a village to do what you do. Let's talk a little bit about your support team, your administration.
Yes, great staff. I have 6 deputy chiefs and soon to be 4 assistant chiefs. We've added an assistant chief to our talent pool. He'll be coming in from out of town. He's going to manage the firefighting operations at the airport because that's a very specific skill set that we just weren't at the top of our game on, so to speak. So we reached out nationwide, did a recruitment, and found a gentleman that's coming in that's what he's done for 29 years. He's leaving his current job, retiring, and coming down here for his second career. But he's young, he's energetic, he's highly intelligent, very talented. So we're excited about that. But so the deputy chiefs, they handle everything: human resources, finance, EMS, logistics, customer support. Special events is a big one for us, counterterrorism, law enforcement integration. We have staff chiefs that cover all those things because we have to have our footprint in all those events. Because of being the entertainment capital of the world, having a legitimate terrorist interests in our community, soft targets across the world get hit. So we have embedded ourselves in that process too with the police department. So the staff chiefs in the Clark County Fire Department are very busy handling a wide range of tasks.
And I know you're very proud of your people.
Yeah, they're awesome. They do an amazing job. All across the country right now as we're traveling quite a bit, speaking on what happened to us in October of 2017. People are amazed at the amount of things that we're able to come up with, develop, implement, and manage at this level.
Sure. Okay, Chief, we're going to take a quick break, all right? We'll have more on scene with Chief Greg Castle from the Clark County Fire Department right after this. Could your child ever become a drowning victim?
Not my child.
Take a second, protect the child.
Would you ever leave your child alone in the bathtub?
Not my child.
Take a second, protect a child.
Would you ever leave your child unattended?
Not my child.
Don't let your dreams become a nightmare.
Take a second, protect a child.
Welcome back, everybody, to On Scene with the Clark County Fire Department. I'm your host, Scotty Allen, and we're chatting with the fire chief of the Clark County Fire Department, Chief Greg Castle. So, Chief, we were just talking about your administrative staff, but let's talk about the men and women that work for this Clark County Fire Department that come to work each and every day, put their lives on the line for perfect strangers, residents and visitors alike. Tell me about your firefighters.
Well, our firefighters are amazing. We have almost 700 in the promoted ranks or the professional ranks, and we have about 200 in the volunteer corps that cover our outlying areas. And they do a tremendous job handling a wide range of emergencies, providing excellent customer service. They're very empathetic and sympathetic to the men and women that they come across and the customers that they handle on a daily basis. And I'm very, very, very proud of what they do for our community.
You and I are, well, you're still there, of course, but I during my 21-year career with the fire department, I don't remember a day waking up thinking I don't want to go to work. And I think that's the way it is with all firefighters.
I believe so. It's a passion. It's a passion to go to work, be involved with your brother and sister firefighters at the station, in the camaraderie that's there, and then to get on a rig, go out on a call, and handle whatever that person's issue is at that moment in time. It's a good feeling. It's a feeling of helping people. Occasionally, it's very sad. We see some things that are very horrific in our world, but a lot of times it's beautiful too. I stopped counting at about 20 babies delivered.
Sure.
I actually enjoyed delivering babies because I was like, well, this time we're on a positive end of a medical call, so to speak. So we do everything from that to cutting people out of cars to fighting fires and just fixing things generally for people that need to be fixed.
I still talk to a lot of the guys and gals on the fire department, a lot of the firefighters. I know they have a great respect for you, and I think one of the reasons being is because I don't think this position as fire chief has changed you. I mean, you and I have been friends for a long time. I know you. I don't think it's changed you, and I think one of the reasons is you haven't forgotten where you came from.
Well, I think it's very important, to lead an organization, especially a high-powered, fast-paced organization such as this. You've got to remember what it was like to be in the streets, what it was like to be in the stations, what it was like to not sleep hardly at all for days on end sometimes when you're very busy at night. And then you have to go home and be mom or dad or whatever at home, and then try to come back the next day to work. So it's important to remember those things, to understand why people get frustrated with processes, understand why people are frustrated with why things don't go through sometimes. But to reassure them, hey, I understand what you're doing, I get it, and we're going to do our best to try and rectify whatever the situation is that they're looking at.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just switching gears here a little bit, Chief. Every city and county, they have those incidents that kind of put them on the map. Here in Clark County, November 1980, we had the MGM fire. February of 1981, we had the Hilton fire. May of 1988, the Pepcon explosion. And unfortunately, and I think it needs to be talked about and never forgotten, the tragic night of October 1st, 2017, the Route 91 Harvest Music Festival. And as sad as that night was, and to stop and think about the fact that was a festival where people, family, friends came together to enjoy a night of music and fun, and the way it ended. That incident put this fire department in front of the world's eye, if you will. Tell me a little bit about that night.
Well, it was a horrible night. There's no doubt about it. And as you said, it did put us on the map. But I'm proud that it put us on the map because of the successful response that we had with our counterparts in law enforcement. Other instances have happened in our country, and police departments and fire departments weren't unified. They weren't in lockstep together. They weren't able to come together and manage the incidents at the level that we did. And that did not happen by accident. That is a direct result of years and years of training together, building programs together, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars every year in training to train police and to train fire and to equip them so that we could be in that situation. So it was a horrible night. I mean, it's one that I will never forget. Painful,